Hey everyone, DoctorHaifisch here, or you can just call me Jamie because DoctorHaifisch is a mouthful. I'm aware. I'm finally inking this Kokichi sketch that I shared on the official Amalgamate Discord. Yes, I am the author of Amalgamate, obviously, but I also do some of the art that you guys have probably seen. So yeah, I figured if I'm gonna be inking this, I might as well just film it. Could do a little bit of chatting. I believe, if I have my timeline right here, I probably just posted chapter 11. So if you already read that chapter, I'm so sorry for just everything that happened, because oh, the despair of it all. Anyways, if you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm using a kneaded eraser here to I don't know, I like to fade the line out, I guess you could say. I like to know exactly where like my ink is, if that makes any sense. For those of you who are interested in the more technical specs, I'm using Canon, this like XL mixed media paper. Be honest with you, I'm not super fond of this paper. It's really textured, so like I like to use a lot of like really thin micron pens. Like I think 005 is the smallest, and this kind of like textured paper just like destroys these poor things. But I don't know, it's the smallest notebook I had, and like, I mean, it's fine, not a big deal. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of these teeny tiny little pens, because I like really fine details. I know I had some people on Discord who were kind of asking me about some of the techniques and stuff that I use, so figure I'll share some of that more technical stuff for those of you who are interested in art, because if there's one thing I've noticed on the Discord, it's that a lot of you are super into art, which, like, hell yeah, obviously. But yeah, I basically use this 005 pen for like everything. Like you can see, like even like these thicker lines, like yes, I could get out a thicker pen, and I will for some stuff, but I don't know, I kind of choose to just like use this really small pen to just go over like lines over and over to like create what I want. I don't know, I like having like maximum control over the contour, if that makes any sense. But I will get the thicker pens out for some stuff, because otherwise we would be here all day. And I just wanted this to be like a quick thing. So anyways, I think this is the first video I'm really like sharing on this YouTube channel that I made. And the fact that I even have a YouTube channel for a fanfic is like just blowing my mind. This entire thing is kind of blowing my mind, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Because when I first started this story, I didn't expect this to like become a thing, if that makes any sense. Also, I'm switching to these are, let's see, Zebra fine liner pens. I get these off jetpens.com. I just buy them in bulk, it's cheaper. And it's got cat hair on it because I have 2 cats and they're super cute, but my god, they're everywhere. Yeah, see, it's like a lot thicker line now because these are almost like something between like a brush pen and like a marker. So they have a lot of like give. The tip is really soft. Anyways, yeah, when I first started working on Amalgamate, you know, like I didn't think it was gonna become a thing. I actually hadn't posted fan fiction publicly in like 6 years, I think. I had kind of like gone dark on that stuff. And I felt bad because I came back to AO3, like the DoctorHaifisch username. I hadn't even used it in like years. I had forgotten about it. But of course I didn't want to wait in that freaking queue on AO3 for like another username. I was like, oh my god, no. I'll be waiting weeks, and I already had chapter 1 finished. I was like, well, got a perfectly good account just sitting here, so. But it was tough because like I opened up that account and there were all these like messages from just years, you know, people just being like, where did you go? So I do apologize for that. I will never do that again, because I'm super happy to be back, obviously. But for the record, because I get asked about this constantly, what's up with the username, right? DoctorHaifisch. It's actually a reference to a Rammstein song. Because for the Amalgamate audio project, Fire Art, who works on the editing, she's the narrator, she voices the narration and everything. She's German, and so she was asking me about it because Haifisch means shark in German. So yeah, I got it from a Rammstein song. They have a song called Haifisch, and the origin of the name was in that song. There's a line where they say like "Doch der Haifisch," which just means "but the shark," like B-U-T, but the shark. But this friend of mine who sadly passed away when he was 20, he misheard the lyric, and he like turned to me and just in all seriousness, just completely earnest, asked me, who the hell is DoctorHaifisch? And I thought that was like the funniest freaking thing ever. So that's where it came from. I had some people asking me about it because there's a lot of like medical stuff in the fanfic, and they were like, are you actually a doctor? And I was like, holy shit, no. Oh my god, I could not be less of a doctor in real life. Like any of that stuff that appears in Amalgamate, I've had to research like the hell out of it because I don't know any of that stuff. Yeah, so there you go. That's the origin of the username. Yeah, I don't know why I was so compelled to return to fan fiction for this particular story. But compelled is the word I would use. Like, I don't know, I guess I should probably talk about, you know, V3 and where I stand on all that, where everything came from. So I was first exposed to Danganronpa V3 via Let's Play. I actually don't play a lot of video games myself because I have some spatial awareness issues that make it very hard for me I did eventually end up playing the game myself, with my roommates navigating for me because I couldn't do it. But I had the controller in my hands. My first experience with it was via a Let's Play. I want to say it was John Wolf and his girlfriend Kimmy. Is that what it was? I don't know. But yeah, I was already familiar with Danganronpa 1 and 2, and loved them, of course, obviously. But you know, there was nothing there where I was like, oh my god, if I don't write a fan fiction involving DR1 and 2, I'm gonna like lose my mind or anything like that. And frankly, in my first experience with V3, by the way, I'm sorry if I'm rambling a lot. I'm not good at multitasking, like drawing and talking at the same time. It's not a talent of mine. But I'm doing the best I can because I just thought it'd be fun to kind of just talk about this fanfic and stuff. Yeah, I watched that Let's Play, and I think it's always interesting when it comes to a character like Kokichi, especially. First impressions, you know, might not always be what you expect. So something that's kind of interesting about my initial experiences with V3. So I tried to stay very neutral on Kokichi. I could tell right away. I was like, this is one of those characters, you know, the ones where it's all floating in the middle, and it's like, are they gonna be redeemed? Are they gonna be just a straight up bad guy? I don't know. I was getting such a like Loki vibe from him, and that made me want to like really like hold out, I guess you could say. Where I was like, I don't want to like make an opinion on him because I can tell that he's up to shenanigans, and I don't know if they're gonna be good shenanigans or bad shenanigans. So I really, really tried to withhold judgment. And I try to do that with all of the characters, you know, like, because you don't know. It's a killing game. Like, characters you think are perfect angels, they might end up doing things you're not happy about. Or characters you think you hate, they might end up being really cool. That being said, I think more so than DR1 and 2, I struggled to not have opinions, you know, on certain characters. It's like I just really started getting attached to certain characters or wanting things for certain characters. So I don't know how to put this, but without kind of digging my own grave here, but I guess I will say this. This might surprise you guys. I stayed neutral on Kokichi. I really did. Really, really, like, I was like, I'm not gonna have an opinion on this child until I have every piece of data available. I'm done with the game. No more information can be obtained. On the other hand, I really, really disliked Kaito. Like, oh my god, I don't even like saying it out loud, because obviously that's not the case anymore. Obviously. So it's like, it feels horrible to even say that. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, we pick characters that we like or don't like based on relatability, right? Like, you know, certain characters, they speak to us because we get it with them, you know, they remind us of ourselves, or they remind us of friends of ours. And I'm a very, very Kokichi-ish kind of person. You know, I'm somebody who kind of holds their cards very close to the chest, you know, like I can be secretive, I can be rude. I hate to say it. I can, you know, I'm often that person, you know, or at the party where like my friends are being like, Jamie, shut the fuck up, you're gonna get us in trouble. And you know, I don't act that way because like I want to be an asshole. Like, it's just, you know, it's a personality type that can come about because of life experiences, and you just, you know, you become a certain way. The point is, as much as I tried to stay neutral on Kokichi, I really felt for him. I really did. I know what it's like to be that kind of person who is easily misunderstood because, you know, you're not always forthcoming, I guess you could say, with your emotions or opinions. You know, you're always messing around, as Kaito would say. Just, you're always messing around. I'm very much that person, and because of that, Kaito drove me crazy. Yeah, it's every word out of Kaito's mouth. I was like, bro, I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit on you, man. You and your positivity, like, you're so, like that, you know, like just relentless and frustrating, because I don't agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I'm not even allowed to be mad about it because you're so nice. And it's just, you know, I've had those Kaitos in my life where they don't get the Kokichis in their lives, and, you know, it doesn't go well, and then sometimes the punching happens, and etc., etc. So yeah, I really struggled with Kaito. And the funny thing is, while I was working on the first chapter of Amalgamate, while I was kind of prepping the story, kind of, you know, making a vague outline and stuff, my roommates they had just played DR1 and 2, so they wanted to play V3 next, and that's when I actually asked if I could have the controller. I was like, I am the expert, because by that point I think I had watched, like, I don't even want to say how many Let's Plays of V3 I watched, because I don't feel like being judged right now. It's a big number, probably divisible by 3. Don't worry about it, it doesn't matter. I have a life, I swear. But yeah, I was like, this is the perfect opportunity. I feel super compelled to write a fanfic, and this is amazing. I can get so much data and material and content right now by experiencing this game. I'm holding the controller finally, etc., etc. But anyways, the point is, I told my roommates that they already knew I loved Kokichi. There was nothing I could do about that. I have like some posters of him on my wall and stuff. Like, there was no point in me, I couldn't have discretion. It was too late. But I told them that there were some characters in the story that, you know, I had frustrations with, you know, that there were some things I wanted to things I would start getting temperamental about certain characters. Now the funny thing is, the character that I did mean when I said that was Maki. For the record, I don't hate Maki. I don't. It's just that I get angry, you know, in later chapters. I get frustrated. But I just kind of wanted to see what my roommates would think if I like planted that seed. I was like, I wonder who they think I'm talking about when I say I have like some issues with a character. And sure enough, they were convinced it was Kaito. Like, they were like, she hates Kaito, guaranteed. That's got to be the guy. There's no way she can stand this guy. Which was very funny to me, because by that point, like I said, I was working on Amalgamate, so obviously I no longer had any ill feelings whatsoever towards Kaito, because he's the main freaking character of the story. But being the Kokichi type that I am, I can't help myself. I trolled so hard. I leaned into it. I was like, oh my god, yeah, you guys got me. Yeah, oh my god, Kaito, I hate that guy. I hate that guy. I can't stand him. He's the worst. So yeah, I was totally playing it up. Meanwhile, I was prepping this extremely sympathetic story towards him. So yes, people change. You know, I got mad at Kaito a lot in my first experience with the game. And I will say chapter 5 and 6, you know, that none of that helped the situation. I have no idea if I'm doing this symbol right. I have like Google pulled up over here, and like none of Kokichi's sprites have like a very good view of this freaking weird ass symbol on his sleeve. Like, what even is that? Well, whatever, I don't really care. Not going for epic accuracy here. Oh, the sprite's kind of, no. Damn it. Ugh, don't you love when you click on a photo and then it's like tiny? What the hell? Just let me zoom in, jeez. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's got this like diamond thing going on here in the middle. What even is this symbol, Kokichi? What does this mean? It's got nothing to do with like dice or nothing. What is this? Huh. Weird. Okay. Well, anyways, yeah, so I remember like after the first Let's Play that I watched of V3, I didn't know what to think. I knew I liked it. Like, I had a great freaking time. Loved it. But boy, did Kokichi's death bum me out. That like, that might be the understatement of the century. And you know, here I was trying to be so neutral, even to the bitter end. I was like, you know what? I don't know. Maybe they're all right. He's a character that cannot be understood. Why even try? I will just give myself a headache. But then I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, his death, like it sounds so melodramatic, but it like haunted me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Like, it was just, it didn't seem right. It didn't seem fair. And I know it's a killing game. It's not supposed to be fair. But it was the bothering of it all that made me start kind of diving into the character more. You know, just analyzing the hell out of him. And interestingly, it was like the more that I got to know him, the more sympathetic I was also becoming towards Kaito. It was like every Let's Play that I watched, and seriously, I've like seen them all. It's so embarrassing. But every single one I watched, it was like I just started to get Kokichi more and more and more and more, and in doing so, I started to get Kaito. And it was the weirdest feeling because I'm not the kind of person normally who would be like, oh yeah, I'm totally starting to sympathize with the jock. You know, like I'm not like that. Nothing against jocks. It's just like, you know, he's written that way. Like he's written to be the kind of character that would absolutely frustrate somebody like me. It just, you know, I could see how much Kaito respected Kokichi by the end. I could see, I could just see how much good he did in his own way, you know, not the way I would have done things, but I could just see how necessary he was in the way that Kokichi was strangely necessary. You know, just the parallels between them. It sounds so cliche when you say like two sides of the same coin, but boy, does that apply here, like more than ever. So yeah, I don't know. The reason I was watching so many Let's Plays was like, it just almost felt like I needed to like make sense of Kokichi's death. It felt so wrong and so senseless in its own way that it was like I was like driving myself crazy with it. And I think that's actually what compelled me to return to fanfiction after like 6 freaking years. It was sort of this like feeling of like, I need to explore this for my own sake, because it's driving me nuts. I need to work through this character. I need to work through Kaito's character. And I'm really glad I started to do that. So other interesting things. I've had a couple people have asked me where did I get the idea about like the strychnine antidote, you know, like being replenished as a way to save Kokichi. And I don't remember exactly when the idea came to me, but I remember thinking, I don't actually know if that would actually work. I needed to confirm a few things. So it was during the playthrough that I did with my roommates that I was just looking constantly for information that could back up this story I was starting to draft. I just remember it was, I think when Shuichi first visits his lab, I think it's like he's with Maki and she says something, you know, again, I could be mistaken, but I think she says something about like, well, why can't we just destroy all the poisons in the cabinet, you know, like then there's no more risk. And Shuichi's like, well, we could, but I'm pretty sure Monokuma would just replenish them by the morning. And that's when I loudly screamed, I knew it! In front of my roommates who had no freaking clue why I was yelling. And the funniest thing is, they probably thought I was accidentally spoiling something. I did have a few moments like that during V3. Like I feel like I'm confessing things I shouldn't be confessing here, but like there was like one part where like, you know, they weren't supposed to know my opinions on anybody other than Kokichi because I couldn't help it. So, you know, they didn't know what I thought of like Maki or anything. And there was like one part where like Maki said something negative towards Kokichi, and I accidentally went like, "You, yeah, what she said." My roommates were just looking at me like, "Girl." So yeah, I Shuichi was like, Monokuma would just replace the poisons. I just was like, I knew it. I freaking knew it. That was the thing I needed to be like, all right, I'm gonna write Amalgamate. I've got this. So that's not exactly where the idea came from, but it is where the confirmation that I needed came from, because I was determined to write a V3 fanfic in which Kokichi lives, but believably is the thing, grounded, works in canon, because, you know, I've read so many hanger fics, you know. I assume a lot of people who are reading Amalgamate probably have too. And don't get me wrong, I absolutely love some of them. They're some of my faves. I love any fanfic that is like, they both made it. Look at that, teamwork. But, you know, if I'm wrong, let me know, because I love recommendations. I couldn't find a single fanfic where Kokichi and or Kaito are saved that didn't break canon. At all, actually. Because, you know, in every single one I encountered, either it was something impossible, like, I've seen this a lot, I'm sure you all have too, where Kaito and Kokichi will like share the antidote, for example, even though in the game the label said that you can't do that. It said 1 dose per dose of poison. Like, if you are poisoned by strychnine, you have to drink the whole bottle. You can't share it. And there's nothing wrong with a fanfic doing that. It's fanfiction. It's like, well, it's what it's for. But it is technically breaking canon, and wouldn't actually work. You know, and I've seen V3 fanfiction where, you know, they make an antidote, or it's really common. I've seen ones where, like, let's say like Kokichi doesn't make it, but Kaito does. A lot of times it seems like it happens because he just is like over his illness by the end of the trial, right? Like he does it, he saves the day, and then even though he was like about to die when the trial was over, he's like fine. I don't know. I really wanted to be able to tell a hanger fic where Kaito and Kokichi make it in a way where they actually could make it, because, you know, it's a catch-22. That's how chapter 5 is written. It's meant to be a catch-22. And I guess I'm just really stubborn, and I was like, no, I refuse to believe that there was no way out of this. There has to have been a way out. And that's when I started doing research into strychnine. I have been asked about how I knew about strychnine. I think it was actually Melody Snowflake, who also works on the Amalgamate audio project, with editing. She did the music and stuff like that. She's actually the one who initially reached out to me about it. Asked me, like, how the hell did you even know about strychnine? I don't know. Too many documentaries, probably. I could be totally mistaken. I think didn't strychnine kill Alexander the Great? Am I totally wrong? I'm probably wrong about that. Don't quote me, or I'm gonna look stupid. Don't look it up. Don't prove that I'm stupid. But yeah, I actually was already aware of strychnine. So the second that I saw strychnine poison in the game, like immediately my brain was like, "You mean strychnine? Because that's a real poison. That's a famous poison." I think like Agatha Christie novels like to use it. Fun fact, it's like the most painful poison known to man. I think in the Japanese version of the game it's just called torture poison, which is like, yeah, accurate. Strychnine is a horrible, horrible way to go. Absolutely horrendous. And yeah, it used to be pretty available. It was used as a pesticide, which is, I even established that in Amalgamate. Kaito talked about that on the farm. That was based on actual strychnine. I'm pretty sure it's illegal as hell now. Again, could be wrong about that. I don't think you can get access to it, but once upon a time it wasn't that hard. But yeah, I started doing research into it because I'm like, okay, that's great that I now know that there is some canon confirmation that Monokuma would replace the antidotes and poisons and what have you. And I think it also just plays into the mechanic of the game, right? Like you punch stuff and it comes back on its own. Like that was kind of part of my logic too. Like nothing in the game is ever gone forever. Yeah, I was like, it doesn't matter though if it'll be replenished if you're just gonna like keel over before you reach the antidote. Like then what's the point except for a horrible torment? So yeah, I did some research into that, and I'll admit, I mean, I really pushed the boundaries of realism with how I portrayed strychnine, if we are to assume it is strychnine. But yeah, I mean, you're not gonna like die immediately, which was really all I needed to know, because the game never said. I can't say I broke canon because the game didn't establish how long Kokichi would or would not have lived. He could have lasted many, many, many hours for all we know. So I was like, well, then that's my cue to run with it. So yeah, that's where the story was kind of coming from, was this angle of I can't stand Kokichi's death. It's super upsetting to me. I don't feel like he deserved this at all. And the more that I, and analyzed, I guess would be the word, analyzed the character and came to a lot of my own conclusions about him and his intentions, his motivations, I was like, this is wrong. I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay. Every time I thought about it, I felt like I was like grieving all over again, which is just weird. It'd been a really long time since a fictional character had made me feel that way, where I was like, I'm never gonna get over the fact that this fictional character died. I don't know. It was like taking me back to like Sirius Black, where I'm just like, I'm never gonna be okay with this. So So yeah, I was like, I will return to fan fiction if it means I can save this gosh darn child. Even though there's plenty of people out there who wouldn't want that. Lots of, you know, controversial character. As for the title of the fanfic, I feel like by now this is fairly common knowledge. But yes, it is from Undertale. The Amalgamates from Undertale. I mean, you know, obviously Amalgamate is already a word. One would not need to know Undertale to get the meaning of, you know, this idea of amalgamating. Clearly, you know, what I was going for was this idea of, you know, what if instead of, you know, Kaito has to become Kokichi in the Exisal, what if they amalgamated into one? Teamwork, working together and all that. But the more specific reference was an Undertale reference. I don't want to get into it too much for those of you who haven't played Undertale, because it is a little spoilery. But yeah, there's these creatures in Undertale called the Amalgamates. They are horrifying abominations of nature. Essentially monsters who were dying, were given an extra dose of the will to live. I don't know how else to put it. And it essentially defied fate. You know, they were supposed to die and they didn't. And so they lived, but they melted into each other. They became these just twisted, amorphous blobs of suffering. And I felt like that just really fit, because I'll be honest, I angsted over the what the hell to call this fanfic. I angsted over it for a really, really, really long time. I felt like the Amalgamates from Undertale really summed up what I was going for, which is this idea that on the one hand, Kaito and Kokichi will work together this time. In doing so, they will actually save each other. They will not die. But defying fate does have its consequences, meaning, you know, now they're an amorphous blob of suffering. No. It's not that dismal. Thematically, that's what I was going for, of like, you know, there was that negative process to them defying fate, that they're sort of tied to each other now in a way that is not necessarily the most pleasant thing ever for them. But as you all know, I promised a happy ending. Don't worry, there will be one. I truly mean that. I know some of you are having a hard time believing it, but trust me, it's in the outline. I will not let these kids. I started writing this story because I couldn't get over Kokichi being dead. So like hell, are we going to have the bad ending for my dead body? yeah, that doesn't mean we're not going to have a lot of suffering first. I feel like I can especially just say that because of chapter 11. I'm so sorry. Okay. As you can tell, I've been kind of holding off on the hair a little bit because that's going to be the extra tedious part. I might add some color into this. So for now, what I'm going to do is we're going to have black, gradient, leave for purple, leave for highlight, black gradient. Yeah. Yeah, okay. You know what, actually, first thing I'm just gonna get rid of all of it. Okay, just because I can. I mean, I don't care if some pencil's showing, but clean slate time. There we go. Alrighty. You know, to speed this up, where is my handy dandy Pentel brush pen for all your large blacked out area needs? So, alright, gonna do that here. Just have to be really careful because this stuff does not dry very fast, as I have discovered on several unfortunate occasions in which I have smeared the ever-loving crap out of things. Okay, so dark line, back to the jet pen, feather time, horrible scratchy noise time. I hope this will look good. I don't know. Last time I did this with Kokichi, I wasn't like in love with the results, to be honest. I think it's because it was like I did it too specific. You know, he's like a messy kid, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people forget he doesn't actually have purple hair. It's like, I mean, it's, you know, purple-ish, but it's more like black with purple tips. And I have personally taken that to just be like he dyed it and then just like never dyed it again kind of situation. You know, like he just like let it go. I don't actually know, but he just strikes me that way. You know, his hair is really messy, like his clothing is tattered, just has that vibe of just doesn't, he like, he wants to look like he doesn't give a fuck because he actually gives more fucks than anybody, that kind of thing. Does that make sense? I don't know. I ramble when I draw. Yeah, I'll fill this in with some purple later. Yeah, this was a little better. Last time I did this, it was like very like black and like a very like specific shape, and I thought it looked really weird. It just didn't look natural. Like hair doesn't do that unless you like doing one of those like supermodel cuts where it's like made to look like you have like android hair. Does that make any sense? Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Whatever. But anyways, yeah, this was all a big rambling way of me saying that this entire project, and by entire project I mean, you know, the fanfic that I am writing, but also the monstrosity it has become was beyond unexpected. I've joked about this before, but like I just so casually posted that first chapter. Like I I do art for a living. I'm a illustrator and comic writer slash artist. But my main passion has always been writing, you know, like book, novel writing. And I don't get to do that, really. It's just not, you know, it's not what pays the bills right now. So in some ways, I also thought, like, okay, I'll return to fan fiction because I have to save this child. But also, you know, like, I want the outlet. Like, I want to be writing a book. And that was really the only goal, was just like, okay, you know, I'm gonna post the first chapter, and then whatever happens, you know, like, I'll just update whenever. No one's gonna read this, you know, so, like, whatever. It'll just be like occasional outlet. When I update, woo. If a few people are reading it, woo. Then I hope they enjoy it. All 3 people. And that was it. Like, I wasn't thinking much beyond that. I mean, I had the story planned out, because this is something that I think no one's asked me, but I feel like a lot of people are probably wondering about this, because I did eventually update the summary on AO3 a little bit. But was it always meant to be a full rewrite? You know, like, not just like chapter 5, but also like going past the trial? And the answer to that is, I always wanted to do a full rewrite. I just didn't know if that was going to be feasible, because I thought that it was more likely that I would start working on this fic, and then, you know, I would update it whenever I could. But you know, I didn't think anyone would particularly be reading it, and if I reached the end of trial 5 and was really busy, you know, with life and whatever, then, you know, it would be really cool if I could keep going. I've always thought that, and I had ideas, you know, that I had had for a while, but, you know, I wasn't gonna, like, hold out hope on that either. Like, if it happened, cool. If not, you know, at least I could say I wrote some stuff, you know, I did a thing. But then, you know, the fanfic started gaining so much traction, which I just, like, I couldn't believe it. There were just so many comments and fan art, and then, you know, the audio project started up, and I just was like, oh my god, like, people are really into this, which is awesome. And then I'm like, well, then that chapter 6 rewrite that I always thought would be cool to do, let's freaking do it. Like, now's the time. So, yes, Amalgamate could have ended after trial 5. It could have just been like, ooh, there was an antidote, and hallelujah. But yes, I did always think it would be way cooler if I could do a full rewrite. So I'm really glad that that has actually become the reality now. That's amazing. Like, I truly cannot express to you guys how awesome this whole thing is. I'm not very good at, like, expressing in general. That's why I write, right? Like, you know, I'm not a talker. I'm a writer. Because talking, I'm awkward and I don't say stuff good. But goddamn, this whole thing has been the coolest experience. Like, it sounds so cliche, but I'm dead serious when I say, like, nothing makes me happier than seeing how much you're all enjoying this. Like, I genuinely, honest to God, truly mean that. It was just like the coolest thing. And sorry. Yeah, I just, when I see there's just so many comments and kudos and like the live stream watch party we did for the audio project, just seeing the just overwhelming response, just like, it's just stunning. But I'm glad, because I think it seems like a lot of people are kind of like in the same boat as me, where you know, there were some things in chapters 5 and 6 that left them unsettled, and knowing that I can bring some catharsis makes me really, really happy. Like, I'm so glad, because I know that, like, for me, like, this fanfic is making me feel better. As crazy as that sounds, it's genuinely making me feel better. And if it's doing that for some of you, like, hell yeah. That is the best news ever. So yeah, I really am grateful that I could come back to writing and that it would turn out like this. I mean, a Discord server, and God, the art that some of you do is so good. And just like, there's voice actors now, and I gave approval to have the fanfic translated into Chinese. That's something that's being worked on. I believe there is a Spanish dub being worked on as well for the audio project. I mean, this has truly become a beast all on its own. And I say that in a good way. Because I just, I'm so glad that I can kind of provide this relief almost. You know, we're gonna try to get that happy ending for this kid, for Kaito. I've given Maki a lot of development that I wanted her to have in the game. And I don't know, it's just cool. This whole thing's cool. I don't know how else to put it. Like, the fact that I'm just, like, right now, like, just doing a sketch like this is just, I can't believe it. Never in my wildest dreams did I imagine anything like this. That being said, I do want to do more stuff like this. I think that this is really fun and not the kind of stuff I normally get to do. The right purple. Yeah, Kokichi's hair is actually pretty dark. I don't know. I have this purple here. I don't think it's gonna really show up much, but let's see. By the way, these are Stabilo fine liners. For anyone who's curious. Just figure as long as I'm here, right? Add a little teensy bit of color. And you know I'm gonna have to get out the pink for this one. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Sweet. I wasn't sure. I tend to do that a lot. I actually wing it a lot, which I shouldn't say since I do art professionally. But yeah, I wing it a lot. That being said, no, I'm not winging it as much with Amalgamate. I do have a plan. I know where I'm going. And as I've said many times, I'm going to a happy ending. That's a promise. But yeah, I don't want anyone to think that all this crazy chapter 6 rewrite stuff is like me just, you know, bullshitting. It's not. I do have a plan. Let's see here. Okay. Just get out some pink. Sorry, Kokichi. Let me just test this really quick. Oh, yeah, neon. Alright, well, got one wound here. One here. One deep inside where no one can see. Oh, poor kid. Yeah. It's okay, kid. I'm on your side, I promise. Yeah, that's really pink, damn. Good, that's what I wanted. Okay. Just trying to decide how far I want to go with this. Originally I wanted it to be like a full explosion, but I don't know if this pen can handle that. It might be a little too small. I should have just used gouache. I use gouache paint for a lot of that kind of stuff. I was being lazy. I didn't feel like getting the water out. I don't know, this pen's actually doing alright. Better than I expected. Yeah, this looks cool. I like it. Good. Excellent. I'd hate to like finally post a video on this like Amalgamate YouTube thing I made and be like, bombed immediately. Terrible drawing. Did so bad. As for the future of the channel, the YouTube channel, you know, Discord, everything in general, I'd love to do a Q&A sometime. I might pose that to the Discord. Just, you know, saying like if y'all have any questions, like specific questions, I'd love to do like another sketch like this, and like specifically answer questions instead of me just rambling, which is what I've been doing. And I have no idea if that's entertaining for you or not. But I imagine that me rambling provides a lot of insight into the length of the chapters. Because I can go on forever. Well, perfect. I don't like having white backgrounds. I mean, this is a white background, but like, I just mean like, I like to fill in space when I can. I won't go too crazy with it. I want to wrap this up pretty soon. I think it's already been over an hour. If you're still here, wow. Congrats and thank you. Have this be a little explosion-y. That's the sound blood makes, right? Pshoo. Something you guys might have noticed is that I do describe the blood in Amalgamate as red. No reason really. I went back and forth on it. Should it just be pink? Should it be red? But I kind of figure that the pink was, you know, to avoid the censors. If I was doing a VR AU, I would be much more likely to make it pink. You know, to stick with the idea of you know, something being hidden from censorship. But in this case, I said, no, red is nice and visceral, just like the story. Now that being said, I will mention this. If y'all want a fun little tidbit that has not been mentioned elsewhere, I do have another story planned for after Amalgamate. Now don't freak out by that statement. That doesn't mean that Amalgamate is anywhere near being done. It's not. And don't freak out by that statement either. I'm not gonna like let it, you know, overstay its welcome. We have an ending, we have a destination, and we're getting there. But yeah, I do have another fic planned for when Amalgamate is eventually over. And it will be a VR AU with a twist. But y'all don't gotta worry about that right now. Just a fun fact for you. So perhaps there will be pink blood in that one. I actually had several stories planned that I wanted to work on, and Amalgamate was the one that won. But it was a toss-up between several options. There you go. That extra dose of despair for you. Yay. Okay, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I think it looks good enough. But I hope you enjoyed that ramble. I hope it was informative. Like I said, I'll try to do something more structured next time, like a Q&A. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that was educational from an Amalgamate standpoint and a drawing standpoint. And once again, just cannot thank you all enough for what an amazing experience of this is and continues to be. This is so much fun, and I never expected it to be. I just thought it would be an outlet, but this has just been fantastic. Okay, there we go. Sweet. How's that? Like it? I think it turned out kind of nice. I'll try to do something a little more elaborate next time, but this was a good test. So thank you for watching, and see y'all soon.